Hey everyone, today I want to share with you how I made these poinsettias. Let me pull one up so you can see it. Look at how pretty that is. So I'm going to show you how I made it real quick. I took some of this red, this is that red velvet ribbon that you get at Christmas time, which is relatively inexpensive. It's like outdoor ribbon. It's real velvety on one side and it has this kind of satinine type backing on it. And I used my Nestabilities dies that Amy gave me. Thank you, Amy. And I'm using, for this size flower, I'm going to use one cut from this size and two cuts from this size. And if I had to measure them for you, I would say that this one is about, this is 1 inch, and the larger size is about 1.5 inches or 1 3/4 inches. So if you are going to cut these on a Cricut rather than your Spellbinders die, then that's the sizes you would cut. Now, and you probably could cut this fabric on a Cricut. I don't know. You would have to try that. But the thing I like about the Nestabilities dies is that they also emboss as well as cutting. So you get this nice texture, and on this velvet ribbon, it really shows up. It's going to be hard to see it in video, but it will be, you know, it is pretty. It adds a little bit of life to it. Now, this is the sandwich that I did for cutting, because I've already pre-cut these. I did my B plate, the A plate, then I took my ribbon, and I used the velvet side up. I took my Nestabilities with the ridges where the cutting ridges are, put them face down onto the velvet. Just like that. Then I added my C plate and I ran it through twice. But if you actually place a sheet of paper, like just a thin piece of cardstock paper on top of that to make a shim, it will cut through it the first, you know, like when you go through the second time, it will completely cut it out. If you don't use the shim, this is what you get, and you have to punch them out. So that's the sandwich for cutting them out. Then I took each leaf, I'm going to put this here so that you can still see it in frame while we're working. So I took and I cut 2 small ones and 1 large one for this size flower. And I'm going to take my stylus. I'm going to pull these off for right now and put them out of the way. So I'm going to take my stylus and I'm going to flip it to the back side so the velvet side is down onto my foam mat. And I'm going to just kind of trace around the edges of the petals all the way around. I'm going to come back up to the center and then I'm going to trace out the leaf shapes on each petal. See how it's starting to curl, and it just gives it a little bit of shape. Pull it up and then do the leaf. I'm going to do this for all of the petals for all 3 shapes. And I love how it just kind of helps to curl that petal up just a little bit. I've been coughing all night long, so I'm sounding really froggy this morning. One more. Okay. Now I'm going to flip it over. And on the center part, I'm just going to kind of do like a circular motion, and it's going to pop it up. Now I've already done this for the other 2 leaves, so we're going to go on to the next step. I pre-did it so that you guys wouldn't have to watch me. So I'm going to take my peeled paint distress ink, and I'm going to put this right on the tip of my finger so that the curved part of the petal is sticking out over the top of my finger, and I'm just going to tap the edges of each leaf on all 3 flowers. And this is just a subtle thing, but makes a wow statement. I mean, it's just a little detail that really, really brings a flower to life. Okay, so now this is what I have, and I've done this for all 3 flowers. So I have this one now, and this one. Now, just to kind of show you the difference and what they look like before, look at that. Look at how these just have so much more realistic life to them than these just look kind of flat. So I really think that that little tiny detail is important. So then we're going to start with our largest petal. And what I like to do before I get started, because these things are so tiny, and once I put the glue down, I don't want to have to figure out which way they go. I'm going to kind of figure it out before I start with the glue. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so that one's going to go like that. Okay, so now I'm going to put just a drop of hot glue in the center of my largest flower. You're always going to start with the largest one on the bottom. Now, if you don't have the Nestabilities die, I think I said before, you can definitely use your Cricut cartridge, but you need to experiment with the fabric. I don't know about that. And then I also have another tutorial where we did the same techniques with paper, and you can check that out in my channel. It's the poinsettia flower, and it's basically the same thing. It's just done with paper and a Cricut cartridge. So Joys of the Season, I believe, was the cartridge. Now all I'm doing is I'm layering these on here, one on top of the other, and I'm just offsetting the petals so that I'm filling in that little gap that's between each petal, because that's ugly and we don't want to see it. And try not to over glue it, because if you do, you're going to end up with glue boogers, and that's horrible on this velvet. They look tacky. Okay, now you're going to take some kind of wet glue, and I have Glossy Accents handy, so that's the one I'm going to use. And I'm going to just put a dab of glue right there in the center. Not a lot. I don't want a huge amount, just a little dab. Then I'm going to take me a shit of pepper and put it on top. And I have these Recollections, they're micro beads, and they come in a box here with all these colors. And it's like $6.99, and I used a coupon, a 40% off coupon on them. So I'm going to mix the light gold with the copper, because I think that they should have two-toned effects, not just single tone. And I'm just using a little jewelry box lid, and I'm about to make a ton of these. That's the only reason I'm doing it this way. But I'm just going to mix some of these colors together. And I'm going to shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Now what this is going to do is, because I'm using a variegated color, it's going to give it even more depth. So I'm just going to pour those right on top of my Glossy Accents. I'm going to take my tweezers. Now, if you look, they kind of scatter because they stick by static cling. So I'm just going to bump them off so that the ones that are not on the Glossy Accents fall off. And go. There's our little poinsettia flower. And you know, little details like paying attention to 2 different colored centers, you know, these bees get everywhere. They're like glitter. Paying attention to 2-tone centers, paying attention to shadowing on leaves. Those kind of details are what make the flowers look so realistic and so pretty. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this, and please leave me comments.